Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadatam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So dear friends, it's a great privilege and honor to be at this great temple and be able to share what little I know of Devi Mahatmyam. I know for sure that this is not a coincidence. That Devi Mahatmyam is happening here and all of us here are here to learn Devi Mahatmyam. A Sahasra Chandi has been announced next year. It is but I think the divine grace of Devi that is making this happen. My heartfelt thanks to Ayya for making this opportunity happen. My sincere thanks to Shree and Ekta for also giving their tremendous cooperation to make this happen. I'll repeat again that all of us who have gathered here in person and all of us who have also gathered here online, this is not a coincidence. If you look around the world, whenever we hear of any major events, when it comes to yajna, you will hear of only two major yajnas. One is Rudram, you'll hear about MahaRudram, you'll hear AtiRudram, and then you'll hear about Chandi, you'll hear Sahasra Chandi, Sahasra Chandi, and I personally think our SriVidya temple here will also go on to do Ayudha Chandi, which is the highest Chandi yajna that one can do. Whenever I have come here to the temple, I have been tremendously impressed by the devotion of the people here and the tremendous energy that this temple has. I have personally also benefited from this temple in certain ways, in certain subtle ways, in certain direct ways, which I is aware of, and as time goes by, I will also share with all of you. So the intense desire to be able to be of service to this temple was always there in my heart. And in the past few months, we have grown very close to the temple, and the only way that we can be of service to the temple is by sharing what little we know. So here we are here gathered to learn Devi Mahatmyam, and there is one subtle aspect that also struck me on the way when I was driving down from home here to Rochester. And that is, Guruji was also very close to Devi Mahatmyam. And I've heard his renditions on YouTube. So I think, this is a Shraddhanjali to Guruji also by making Devi Mahatmyam available to all the devotees here. The Chandi Homam that happens here is spectacular. It's awesome. I've never seen a Chandi Homam where for every chapter, the Ahuti, you offer a sari and a Durmangalyam. It happens only here. Normally, even in big homams, I've attended several, it is only offered at the very end. But here there's a Durmangalyam offered for every adhyayam. And to me, when I imagine, and I'm a very strong visual person, when I imagine to myself about a Sahasra Chandi here, and definitely Sahasra Chandi down the line, the visual spectacle, and this temple specializes in visual spectacles. It is a lasting impression. And when I visualize that, and when I visualize to be able to be part of that, I'm tremendously excited. Now let's talk about Devi Mahatmyam. How many of you have heard about Devi Mahatmyam? It's also called Durga Saptashati, by the way, and in certain parts of India, it is also known as Chandi part. How many of you have heard of Devi Mahatmyam? Feel free, don't feel shy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have around 10. So not many have heard about Devi Mahatmyam. Devi Mahatmyam comprises of 700 shlokas from Markandeya Purana, and it talks and extols the greatness of Devi. It is divided into 3 main portions. It's got 13 chapters, okay? And the 13 chapters are divided into 3 main portions. By the way, I'm speaking in English. If some of you are not comfortable with English and you want to ask a question in Tamil, or you want to ask a question in Hindi or Bangla or whatever, I will be able to cope up with it, okay? Don't feel shy. To me, the most important thing is this must reach you. So no shyness here, okay? All of us are students here. I consider myself a student. So just feel free to open up and ask questions, okay? If I know the answer, I will give the answer. If I don't know, I'll say I don't know, but I will get the answer for you, okay? So Devi Mahatmyam comprises of 700 shlokas, comes from Markandeya Purana, and is divided into 13 chapters. 13 chapters are further divided into 3 major portions. The first chapter is one portion. Chapter 2 to 5 is a second portion. And chapter 2 to 4 is the second portion, and chapter 5 to 13 forms the third portion. This is a Purana. A Purana means a story. The story is about Devi. So Devi does something in the first chapter, Devi does something in chapter 2 to 4, and then Devi does something in chapter 5 to 13. And what are they? In chapter 1, basically Devi helps in the slaying of 2 asuras called Madhu and Kaitava. When the world is formed and Sri Mahavishnu is lying, after creating the world, he is lying on the sea of milk and he is in a yoga nidra. 2 asuras come out of the dirt of his ears, and Devi helps in the slaying of those asuras. She doesn't slay them directly, but she helps in the waking up of Mahavishnu so that he is able to engage in a battle with them and slay them. So she is dormant in the first chapter, but she is instrumental in the slaying of Madhu and Kaitava by waking up Mahavishnu. Otherwise Mahavishnu would have been slain. Are we clear on this? So this is the first chapter. The second chapter to the 4th chapter, Devi basically helps in this, directly slays Mahishasura. Okay? And in chapter 5 to 13, she helps in the slaying of a series of asuras, a number of asuras, finally ending in the slaying of the powerful brothers Shumbha and Nishumbha. Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati are the 3 Devis ruling the 3 chapters. Mahakali for chapter 1, Mahasaraswati for chapter 2 to 4, and Mahasaraswati ruling chapter 5 to 13. Whenever you hear of Devi related to Chandi part or Devi Mahatmyam or Durga Saptashati, the only image that you will see is of Durga. Why do you not see her in any other form? Why do you see her as only slaying Mahishasura? Have you ever wondered? Why do you see only Devi in the form of Mahishasura seated on a lion slaying Mahishasura and no one else? Not slaying Shumbha and Nishumbha, not slaying Chanda and Munda. Because the second chapter to 4th chapter called the Madhyama Charitram, she slays Mahishasura, and Mahalakshmi stands for chapter 2 to 4. And if you go to the Rahasya chapters, which comes at the end of Devi Mahatmyam, it reveals certain secrets. And one is of the creation of the world from the Shakta perspective, where it is Mahalakshmi who was a primordial deity, and from her came Mahakali and Mahasaraswati. To put it very briefly, And the second chapter, the fourth chapter, I told you stands for Mahalakshmi. That is why, since Durga comes in chapter, slays Mahishasura, so she is more famous as Mahishasura Mardini, or Durga's posture, always slaying Mahishasura, emerging from the buffalo. Now, there is a lot of violence in Devi Mahatmya. And people can wonder, how can I worship a Devi who is on a rampage? That we are able to sit in this temple and pray peacefully is because somebody is guarding the borders. Somebody is protecting us. Somebody is spilling blood. So that we can sit peacefully and say, I am a very spiritual person, I am not into violence. So, long and short of it is, the protection that happens sometimes happens in various ways. And sometimes the extremes, when you come to the balance of good and bad, when evil becomes stronger than good, the final step has to be taken, which is physical violence. And what Devi has done in all of Devi Mahatmyam in the slaying of Asura is only to protect us. Because if she had not done that, we would not be sitting here peacefully chanting or doing our pujas. So the Raudra aspect of Devi is what you see in Devi Mahatmyam. And for me personally, more than the Saumya form or the peaceful form of Devi, I have always been attracted to the Ugra form, the Raudra form. Because I come from Kolkata in Bengal, where they worship Kali and Durga, and that is what I saw growing up and had a lasting impression on me. This I am sharing with you in very brief about Devi Mahatmya. Coming to the actual chanting of Devi Mahatmya, the 13 chapters are preceded by a few chapters. It's called Purvanga. And the 13 chapters at the end are succeeded by Uttarangam, called 3 Rahasya chapters. So this entire Purvangam, 13 chapters, Uttarangam, all these 3 make up the entire Devi Mahatmya. And these 13 chapters, when they are chanted with Swaha, it becomes a Chandi Homam. Devi Mahatmyam without Swaha is Devi Mahatmyam. Devi Mahatmyam chanted with Swaha becomes Chandi Homam. Are we clear on this? It's very simple. Now, Devi Mahatmyam is a Puranam, a story. It's just a story. But what makes it potent? What makes an inert story a mantra? Think of a pot of milk. If you want to make yogurt, what do? You drop a spoon of curd, and the entire milk becomes curd, yogurt. What converts the inert Pauranic stories of Devi Mahatmyam into a mantra? It is the Navakshari mantra. Aim Hrim Klim Chamundaye Viche. Then it is chanted. Those of you who saw us participate in the Chandi Homam, you would have seen we did a Navakshari Homam before the commencement of the 13 chapters. And we did a Navakshari Homam at the end of the 13 chapters. So the 13 chapters, we put a bracket of Navakshari around the 13 chapters. So that Navakshari in the front of Devi Mahatmyam, the Navakshari at the end of Devi Mahatmyam is like putting a spoon of yogurt into Devi Mahatmyam, and the entire inert Pauranic story of Devi Mahatmyam becomes a mantra, and hence potent, and hence gives us all the results that we need. The benefits of Devi Mahatmyam are tremendous, by the way. Because Devi herself comes and states the benefits of Devi Mahatmyam in chapter 12. Okay? In chapter 12 she comes and tells us that many of the mantras, you get the benefit when you chant it. Devi Mahatmyam is the only chanting that the benefit goes to the person listening also. You do not have to understand. Just by listening to Devi Mahatmyam, you get all the benefits of the person who is chanting. Shrutva, Shrutva, Shrutva. Come, Devi mentions at least 5-6 places. Just listen to this to get the benefits. So there's a huge difference between getting a benefit by chanting yourself. Devi Mahatmyam gives you the benefit of. That's why Chandi Homam is used for Lokatshemam. Lokatshemam is for the benefit of the entire world. So when we do a Sahasra Chandi or Sata Chandi, it is not for us. It is for the entire world because sound travels. It's for the entire world. Okay. Now, enough about Devi Mahatmyam and it's the Puranic stories and so on and so forth. Why are we here? We are here to learn chanting. All of you in the temple have seen ardent devotees, passionate about doing pujas and doing the chanting, and it excites me a lot when I come here to see the endless energy. And it has been my keen desire. I have conveyed to Ayya very openly that I would like to see the same crowd sitting in large groups chanting Devi Mahatmyam. And to me that would just give me a tremendous amount of pleasure. A temple like this resonating with Devi Mahatmyam, Rajnikant says, I want that this temple here and building here should reverberate with the sound of Devi Mahatmyam. Now, whenever we chant something like Rudram and Devi Mahatmyam, the bhava that comes is not the bhava that you get when you chant Lalita Sahasranamam or Vishnu Sahasranamam. The bhavas there are saumyam, they are chanted in a very mellifluous form. But here when you chant, you will feel it externally. It has to impact. And that, I personally would like to see that happen in this temple. We have this 3-hour session, and in the 3-hour sessions, I gave this brief introduction. Now I'll move on to chanting. Now, chanting is something like, Prabhudeva, who is in dancing, right? Sometimes I'll give you a lot of connections from movies, because I'm a movie buff also. He says anybody can dance. Correct? I say anybody can chant. And I say this because I did not know any chanting before 2001 when I came to Canada. This is the truth. I did not know any chanting. After coming to Canada, we did a Ganapati Puja, where Gayatri took the book, Puja Vidhi, she chanted the Ganapati names, and I just offered flowers. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm telling you the truth. Absolute truth. There's nothing to hide in this. Okay? But once I started getting a passion for chanting, I kind of learned a lot very fast. God's grace, whatever you want to call it, time had come. So in my life there was a before and after, And it happened, it suddenly started happening very fast, and somehow I was able to learn a few things. And then people said, why don't you start teaching? And I started teaching. And that is when I found that I'm saying something, and when they're repeating, they're not repeating exactly what I was saying. And it took some time for me to, what is happening here, right? And I had to do some reverse engineering to actually understand what is it that I imbibed by listening to Chalakare brothers, Prakash Kaushik, other people chanting, and I also learned Mahanyasam from Chandru GuruCool. My namaskaram to him always for sharing Mahanyasam with me. So during the sessions, I imbibed a lot, not technically, you understand? Nobody told me that, this is how you do it. I just imbibed it. Through probably a keen sense of hearing or whatever. But when I started teaching, I started realizing that the students are not able to produce what I was saying. And then I started understanding the gaps. And from the gaps, I basically developed a mnemonic. I discovered there are 6 areas that basically students are lacking. Either they lack in one area or the other area, or they know it, but they don't know what is the scientific or the construct behind that. So I did the reverse engineering, and I developed a mnemonic. And I can tell you, I think it was God given, that this mnemonic works like magic. It's a simple 6 rules. I'm talking now only shlokas. I'm leaving Vedas outside it. The Vedas have the 7th rule, which is on the swaras. We'll dwell upon that. But when I'm talking about this 6 pieces, and we'll share those 6 pieces, it's when you put them together, the sound is automatic. The correctness of chanting is a natural output of following those 6 rules. And we will play with it, because I'm sure that many of you chant Lalitha Sahasranamam and other texts, and you had some places you had a problem, and you always started coughing in that place, or and just keeping silent, and it could have been 20-25 years, correct? You just chanted the places you thought was easy, the difficult places you kind of swallowed. Okay? We will not do that. If you follow 6 rules, today when you go back home and Namaskar, when you revisit the difficult places of chanting, when you apply these rules, you know which rule actually you had ignored. Okay, let's go to them. The simple mnemonic. And if you had, I don't know, if some of you had watched the videos, I have constantly repeated the mnemonic. The mnemonic is, please chant Devi hymns very harmoniously. Please chant Devi hymns very harmoniously. We have these mnemonics for going to exams, So I developed something on this, along this pattern. Take the first letter of each word, please. So the first letter of please is P. P for pronunciation. Pronunciation is the biggest challenge that I have seen amongst all the rules. All the rest of the 5 rules will be a cakewalk for you after some time. Pronunciation will be a lifetime challenge. Unless you grew up listening to Sanskrit and actually learning Sanskrit and knowing the sound of the aksharas. So, please, P for pronunciation. And by the way, I can tell you straight away, though we will be sharing on pronunciation, the biggest casualty of any group class like this will be pronunciation, because to correct the pronunciation of every individual will not be possible. So in terms of efficiency, we will be able to produce a group chant in which pronunciation will be a casualty, but I would think most of the people will get it. The rest of the 5 rules will get it. Pronunciation is an individual sadhana. You have to sit and work on it. Especially if you have grown up reading in Tamil, it's going to be a huge challenge. I can tell you that straight away. Okay? Malayalam is the closest that I have seen to Sanskrit, and Malayalis do not have a problem with pronunciation. And the rest of the people also do not have a challenge. But the way Tamil is a great language, but for the phonetic sounds, for mantras, it lacks in certain aspects. But this can be cured by listening and by working on it. It is possible. Okay? P for pronunciation. Now let's go to the second one. Chant. C for Chandas. Now Chandas, what is Chandas? A Chandas means meter. Every sloka has a meter, and the most common meter that we use for chanting slokas is called Anushtup. Anushtup, Chandaha. We say that, right? And when we say that, we touch the nose, or sometimes we touch the mouth, right? Because Chandas or meter is considered the very life breath of chanting. Now, what is Chandas exactly? I said Chandas is meter. What is meter? A meter or Chandas refers to the count of syllables in a line. Anushtup means 32 syllables. 2 lines. What are the 2 lines? Commonly, what did we chant in the beginning of the class? Shuklam Baradharam Vishnam Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam dhyayet sarva vikhnopashantaye. 2 lines, right? Sri Mata Sri Maharagni Srimad Simhasaneshwari Chitagnikunda Sambhuta Devakarya Samudhyata. Same tune, right? Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Matra Rupena Samsthita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. Got it? Sounds same tune, right? This is set in Anushtup, Chandas. There are other meters also. Gayatri, Ushnik, Brihati, Pankti. Let's not focus on those. Those also have certain count of syllables. Gayatri will be 24 syllables. Okay? Let's just focus on Anushtup because Devi Mahatmyam will be mostly Anushtup. Mostly. I would say 95% it would be Anushtup. And we'll focus on Anushtup because you have to get the concept of syllables. Because my dear friends, I'll share with you the biggest discovery that I made in chanting. When you chant, don't chant the sentence, don't chant the word, just chant the syllables. When you chant Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam, 16 syllables need to be enunciated. 16 distinct sounds have to come out. Shuk. I didn't say Shuklam. Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam. Count 16. Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vikhnopashantaye. 16. You should be able to count. If you're having difficulty in a sentence, most probably you are not chanting a syllable properly. Are we clear on this? 16 sounds in each line. And what is a syllable? I said 16 syllables. Are we clear so far? If I'm going too fast, it's too heavy, let me know. And I think Ekta and Shree will have to guide me on this. If it is too much or too fast, just put up your hands and let me know. So people may be shy, but you don't be shy. Okay? 16 sounds. Are we clear? Now, let's go and look at 2 more features of this sound. Highly technical. Now, I am a technical person on chanting, okay? And you have to forgive me for that. That's what I enjoy most. And that's what I can share with you. If you ask me the esoteric meaning, I'm not in the esoteric meaning. I wouldn't be able to share anything with you. But technically, yes. Let's look at 2 more features of the sound. What is a sound? It can be a simple consonant like ka, ma, pa, ta, right? Ka, kha, ga, kha, kam, khang, gam, khang, gam, chan, chan, jan, chan, yam, tan, tan, dan, than, nam, tan, tan, dan, than, nam, pam, 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 mam, yam, ram, lam, mam, sam, from, sam, ham, lam, cham. So these are all the aksharas. Ka, kha, ga, kha, ga, cha, cha, ja, cha, nya, ta, ta, dha, dha, na, ta, ta, da, dha, na, pa, pa, ba, ma, okay? It's a single sound, no? Ka, kha, ga, gha. Single sound. But this single sound can have another sound in it but be one sound. When you add another sound to it, for example, ka plus ra becomes kra. One sound. Ka, kra. One sound, no? Are you having 2 sounds? Are you getting what I'm saying? Ma, mra. Shree, Sri Mata. Shree, Shra. Sha and Ra. Shree. One sound, no? So, a sound that can be clean like ka or slightly distorted with the sound. Maybe it's an improper use of a word, but you also have the impact of another akshara on it, but it's half and half. Like in cream, half and half, right? Half ka, half ra, kra. Half ma, half ra, mra. Half ta, half ra, tra. Half sha, half ra, shra. First feature. The second feature is more important. Extremely important. Your success of your chanting will depend on these concepts. Time factor, matra. You can have a sound, what I call a short sound or a long sound. Right? I said chandas. Let's do a recap. I said pronunciation. I said chandas. On chandas we focus on Anushtup chandas. Anushtup chandas has 32 syllables, 16 in each. Correct? Now we are looking into the property of these syllables, and we go on to the third and the fourth word of the mnemonic. Please chant Devi hymns. D for Dirgham. Hymns. H for Hrasvam. Dirgham means elongated vowel. Hrasvam means short vowel. By the way, any sound ends with a vowel. Did you know that? When you say ka, what is the ending sound? When you say ma, what is the ending sound? Right? When you say ki, what is the ending sound? E. When you say ki, ending sound is e. When you say ku, ending sound is u. When you say ku, ending sound is u. When you say K, ending sound is A, and A is always dirgham. There is no A in Sanskrit. There is only A. Whenever A comes, is always extended. Then cow, ow is always extended. There is no ow. There is only ow. Then So im will also be extended. For example, Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam. You cannot go Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam. Bhujam extension should be there. Aha. Okay. Are we clear? Let's go to the short and long. So you have ka or you have ka. In a word. One sound, no? One sound still. We're still on one sound. Are you still with me? If you have lost me, let me know. One sound. Ka or ka. But see the time. Which is longer? Ka is longer. When I say ki, the second sound is longer. So the first one is what I call the hrasvam or the shortened vowel. The second one is the extended vowel. This is one of the most fundamental concepts of chanting. This you have to imbibe and you have to practice. In most common error in chanting that I have observed in public chanting so far, people do not understand the time concept of this short vowel and long vowel. They go into the fallacy of rhythmical chanting. What is rhythmical chanting? Both lines should exactly take the same time. Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavathanam Dhyaja Sarva Vignopashantaye. Both are taking same time. Wrong. Rule number one. Both lines can have same number of syllables. Both lines cannot take the same amount of time. No two lines are same in terms of time. If you don't get this, you have failed. I can tell you straight away. Why are people not in sync on chanting? One takes the time to say the dirgham properly. The other one says, I know this. This is ka. But does not show respect to the dirgham. And now the next question comes, okay, you say short sound, long sound. How much time should we spend on the short sound and long sounds? In earlier days, they had sounds of animals, actually, to say this, like a crow saying ka, that should be the amount of time taken, or a jackal saying something. I don't know much about this, but they had a concept of, because animals are very predictable, you know. When an animal, for example, if you take a cock crowing, the cock crows, the sound length is same. When a crow caws, the sound is same. When a say a cow moves, the sound is, it takes the same amount of time. It's the only sound it produces, correct? When a cat mews. I'm just giving an example. It is more standardized, you see. So the rishis of those, they actually took the sounds of animals because they are very consistent in what they did. But what I have seen, based on reading other material, the simplest way to understand this is with snap of a finger. When you say ka, ma, kra, tra, pra, sra, la, ka, how much time should you take? Ka, pa, ma, pra, sra. How much time should you take to chant the long vowel? Now we're standardizing, no? We're setting a standard. Technically it is supposed to be 2.5 times. But I cannot do 2.5 snaps. I've tried it, but it's not easy. So let's set the bar at 3. It's only to demonstrate a concept, right? But over a period of time when you practice, you will settle down on 2.5. Why? When you stand in groups, you will settle down at the 2.5, okay? First get the concept, because the trick is in understanding a concept, step number 1. Step number 2, practicing the concept. Step number 3, the master who employs consistently the techniques learned, whether it is a simple sentence or whether it is a difficult sentence. See what I mean? So it's a 3 snaps. We can do it. Kra, mra, pra, tra, right? Pa, sa, si, ki. Got it? 3 times that of the initial rasva. Okay? Are we clear? Now let's do some counting of syllables to understand the split. We should get 16, and let's also see the time factor. If someone has a calculator, they can probably. You remember I told you to keep a highlighter? I said 2 highlighters. The reasons were very simple. In the beginning, and yes, if you want to do it till the end, you can do it. You will take 1 highlighter when you look at the text where there is a hrasvam. I'm just saying, you have a pink and a yellow or whatever. Take 1 yellow, just mark all the hrasvams in every line. Okay? And then we'll come to the holding concept and then use another highlighter to mark the holding places. I'll come to the holding concept next. Okay? So this way, in a line, tell me, in a line, if you see 5 yellow markings, and in another line you see 2 yellow markings, instinctively, logically, you will know that the first line should take you more time to chant than the second line. The first time I used to master the concept, no, I just used to look at the length of the sentence. Just when you type a sentence, no, when you add an A or an E or an U, automatically the sentence will be longer than the first sentence. You got my point? Because you have the Aki Matra, you have the Iki Matra, it's extra 1 line. So, but visually looking at a sentence, I would know that this line will take me more time than the first line or the second line. So, marking these dirghams will give you a visual idea of time. Okay. So we said, please, P for pronunciation, chant C for chandas, Devi hymns D for dirgham, H for hrasva. Now we come to very harmoniously. V for visargam. What is visargam? If you have seen your text, you will see there's a double dot. Namaha. Nama followed by a double dot. Have you seen that? That double dot is called the ha. The default sound is ha. But the default sound is ha only when it occurs at the end of a sentence. Namaha, when it ends, no? Shivayai Namaha, Durga Namaha, right? The Namaha comes in the end, so the ha sound comes. But assume that the ha, the visargam comes in the middle of a sentence. Have you seen that in the middle of a sentence? The sound will not be ha. The sound of the ha will change depending upon the following akshara. For example, a very common example that I give is Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. Have you seen that? Shanti, 2 dot, Shanti, 2 dot, Shanti, 2 dot. The right way to pronounce is the first visargam, Shanti, followed by Shanti. So one visargam followed by Sha, no? 2 dot followed by Shanti. 2 dot followed again by Shanti for the second line. And the third Shanti is open-ended. There is nothing after that. When visargam is followed by Sha, for example, you don't say Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. You say Shantis, Shantis, Shantihi. Visargam followed by Sha becomes Ish. Visargam followed by Sha becomes Ish. Visargam followed by Ka becomes Ik. You see in Rudram, a lot of visargams coming. The only visargam you say the ha, though it occurs in the middle of a sentence, is when it is followed by Cha. Namaha Kshatrabhya. In Rudram it comes, right? Namaha Kshatrabhya. The only time visargam comes before Cha, you'll have to say the Ha. Kausham Bahak Charike Devi Narayani Namo to the Kausham Bahak Charike Devi. Kachai comes Charike Devi, okay? We'll go into this, but the point I'm trying to make here is when you say a visargam, people produce different kinds of sounds. First thing is they don't even say the visargam, they swallow the visargam. Okay? Or they say it with ha, which is wrong. I told you the sound changes. Now the visargam concept, I'll say how it is related to the last word on the mnemonic, which is H. H, what was it? Please chant Devi hymns very harmoniously. H for holding. Holding is a very, very important concept in chanting. Tamil they call it pidichu solradhu. Enappa nee pidiche solla matengra. You know, a lot of vadhyas or priests, when they hear you chanting, they may come and tell you, Allah solra pidichu solla matengra. Means you are not holding and chanting. What is this holding concept? Nobody held my hand and taught me this, but I broke my head on this. And after I told you about reverse engineering, I saw it happens only in 3 instances. This holding happens only in 3 instances. The first instance, when there is a half akshara. Second instance, when there is a mixture of aksharas. The first half akshara means half sa, half ma, half ta. When I say half ta, I am saying from a Sanskrit perspective, okay? I think if you're reading in Tamil, you'll see with the pulli, it or something like that, you'll say half. Instead of saying ta, it will be it in Tamil, okay? So, half akshara or mixture of aksharas. What are the mixture of aksharas? Tra, mra, kra, pra, sra. I'll give you a demo shortly. What is holding? The third instance is hasvam. Sorry, not hasvam. The visargam. When visargam comes, you have to hold. When visargam comes, you have to hold. Are you with me? Okay, by the way, I forgot to record this. Is it being recorded on live stream?
Yeah.
So it will be made available, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, so I forgot to press the start button, so let it go. Okay, so I said holding. 3 instances, half akshara, mixture of aksharas, 3 visargam. So the Visargam concept flows onto the holding concept also. Now let's see a demo. Namaha Sadase. I mentioned this in yesterday's class also. This is a common Vedic chant chanted at the beginning of every puja or homam, especially if it is Vedic centric, which is a greeting of all the guests and all the people who have gathered. Namaha Sadase. Namaha Sadase. Visargam. Namaha Sadase becomes Namasadase. You don't say Namaha Sadase or Namasadase, Namasadase. And when you hold, there is a stress and there is a pause. Namasadase. Am I going Namasadase? Am I going Namasadase? Am I going Namahasadase? I'm saying Namasadase. Yes, Sadase. So is extended, held. Visargam. And there are like a shant, 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 ish. There is a slight stress and elongation. Are you with me? Then comes the mixture of aksharas. All of you chant Lalita Sahasranamam. What is the very first declaration that we do in Lalita Sahasranamam? Asya Shree Lalita Sahasranama Stotra Mahamantrasya. How many mixture of aksharas are coming in this? Can you count? Asya, half sa. I told you half sa, right? You don't say asya, asya, isya, Shree. So, asya Shree. You don't say asya Shree. Shra is a mixture of aksharas. Ish and ra. The first word is asya. You don't say asya. Right? Asya Shree. You saw this example, half akshara in asya, mixture of aksharas in Shree, and this holding concept comes in the first line of Lalita Sahasranamam multiple number of times. You don't have to hunt anywhere. Asya Shree Lalita Sahasranama Stotra Mahamantrasya. Shall we count? Asya 1, Shree 2, Sahasra, Isra, right? Sahasra, Sra means two sounds. In one syllable, two sounds. Is and Ra. Stotra, Sto, Tra, Mant, half Na, then Tra, Sya. I already counted 7. 7. As, Shree, Sahasra. Stotra Mahamantrasya. Tra, then Sya. So you will see the stress. There's a big difference between saying Asya Shree Lalita Sahasranama Stotra Mahamantrasya and saying Asya Shree Lalita Sahasranama Stotra Mahamantrasya. See the difference? Tuck, 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 tuck. This is called holding concept. So the person who chants the first way and the person who chants the second way, they will not be in sync. The first person will be in front of the second person and looking at the second person and saying, what is this fellow doing? I know it better, I'm faster. Faster is not better. Faster is not better. Who gets a better insurance rate? The person who goes through red lights? Or the person, you know what happens to the person who goes through red lights, right? What happens to the insurance rates? After some time, they are not even given the car to drive. And in a practical chanting situation, the person who breaks the red lights of chanting will not get the mic to chant. Simple. Simple. So, now we come to another corollary of this. Speed is a byproduct of practice. speed is not the goal. Speed is not the goal. Do not be impressed by people who are chanting fast. I'll give you an example. A person who chants fast, right, whom you're so impressed with, ask them to chant slow. They will not be able to. Ask them. The first thing they will say is, you know what, Ramesh? I'm able to chant this when I'm chanting fast. But when you ask me to slow down, no, I'm not getting it. Of course, when you swallow half of the details, and then suddenly you're made to look at things. Obviously, when you start driving, it's easier to drive fast than slower. Control in traffic, on the pedals, how much to accelerate, how much to brake. Drive, when we start driving, we think we'll be afraid to drive, but I'm telling you, when you start to drive, actually instinct will be drive faster. And your driving instinct will tell you slow down, slow down, slow down. You're turning too fast. Slow down, slow down. Have you seen this? It's very common. So my friends, speed is a byproduct of practice. When you chant, you should think you're going slow. You will feel you're going, but people tell you you're going too fast. That's a sign that you will know that you are chanting in speed and properly. Okay? When you can chant following the 6 rules and speedily, that's ideal. Otherwise, it is incorrect chanting. Now, the time is 9:57. We are getting close to the end of the first hour. And it's been a lecture. I've been blowing hot wind in one side, okay? Now I want you to get engaged and ask me certain questions if you want to ask questions, because we'll get I think, have you scheduled a break after every hour? How is it?
Whenever you think.
It's not me. I can go on for hours, okay? But it's the poor people here. So you feel free, okay? You have to let me know. Yes? Okay, let me summarize the 6 mnemonics as ordered by my wife. By the way, my wife, when I'm taking the class, she keeps on sending messages. Keep it down, don't. But I don't listen. Okay, let's go and summarize. Now we're discussing technical aspects of chanting. First, let me ask you, are you comfortable with me?
Yes.
Are you understanding what I'm saying? Does it sound like rocket science? Are you able to relate to it? Okay, now let's summarize. 6, 1 sentence. Please chant Devi hymns very harmoniously. 6 rules. And we are not yet ventured into the Vedic sphere, okay? Vedic sphere has a 7th rule, which is swaras. It's a totally different word. We'll spend time on it. Now let's look at the first letter of each word. Please, P for? Good. We have not actually dwelt on pronunciation. We said it's only an aspect, okay? We will dwell on pronunciation. Number 2, chant. C for? Chandas. What is chandas? And?
Syllable.
Count of? Syllable. What is the third word? Devi. D for? What is dirgham? Long vowel. And can you give an example of a long vowel? Excellent. Next, look at the 4th word. H for? What is raspam? Short vowel. Then goes to very. V for? What is visargam? Double dot. And by default, what does it stand for? Is the sound h always? When is the sound? We'll come to that. When is the sound not h? When it comes to the middle of a sentence. Sound good, excellent. We're making great progress. And when is only exception when you chant h for Visargam, though it occurs in the middle of a sentence, cha. And what is the last one?
Holding.
H for holding. And what is the holding concept? When does it occur? 3 instances. Ha akshara and visargam. And what is holding by itself? Stress, little bit of an elongation. Right? Are we good on this? Because the second hour will be spent on taking this and applying it to certain sentences. I'll make you count the syllables. I'll make you count the number of dirghams. I'll make you look for the visargam and say what sound will happen. Okay? Because this is the foundation of chanting. If you are going wrong anywhere, believe me, it's one of these rules you are flouting. And because of this knowledge, you will now be able to zone in and say which rule I am flouting. Because one is, becoming aware. You may not be able to correct it, that's another issue. Sometimes if you got used to chanting something in a wrong way, it's etched in stone. It's a huge challenging thing to polish it and remove the mark, okay? It's possible. It's possible when for you the rules become so important that through sheer will you're able to do some unlearning and you're able to polish the stone and remove the, it's possible. Okay? Now, questions, and then I think we will take a 5-minute break. Okay, otherwise it will be like a monotone. Okay, the second hour will be engaging. The first hour was solely lecture. I want to hear my voice. So, any questions? Don't be afraid. Look, I'm just a student, and if you're not able to answer, I would say I don't know. Yes.
In order to learn these rules and practice it, can we learn the known and always pronounce the slokas of Ram
Yes.
to apply this so that it can...
Okay. Based on my experience, for serious students, when they understand the rules, it actually they break down. Because they have been chanting passionately some of their stotrams for so long, and the first reaction is, oh my God, what did I do? What was I doing? Everything was a waste. And they struggle because now they see roadblocks, red lights everywhere. They see roadblocks everywhere. They actually come to a crashing stop because earlier they didn't know there were red lights and they're just running through the red lights. Now when they see the red lights, actually it's they come to a crashing stop. But yes, it's possible. With God's grace, with your Guru's blessings, and with your sheer willpower, and if you spend time on it, it's what I call digging water for a well. Now everybody knows there is water, and everybody has a spade in hand and they're digging. Each one will find water, but when they will find water, at what level of digging they will find water, I do not know. I only know that the well of nectar is there for every one of you. With Haranaya's blessings, with Guruji's blessings, you will start digging, and with the blessing you will find it fast. But it will test you. Devi will test you. Devi will test you. For some, she may give her grace immediately. Some, she may take time, but she will test you. And the ones she tests are the dearest ones to her because she is seeing how focused are you. But I can tell you the time has come because you are now going to be doing Sahasra Chandi. And I can tell you when you chant, it will shake. The place here will shake. I can tell you that. Okay, it will be perfect. So to answer your question, yes, Devi's Guru's blessings, Devi's blessings, and your hard work. Nothing is impossible. It's doable. But sheer discipline and following the Chanakya's example. How many of you have heard of Chanakya? I see around 30% of the hands going up. All of you must read about Chanakya. he is falsely blamed as being very, very wily and very, very cunning. He was not. He was a determined man who actually drove the Greeks from India single-handedly. There are many stories about Chanakya, but the story that I like most and that is relevant for you students is this. Chanakya was a Brahmin teacher, a Vedic teacher, who ultimately just went outside. He was insulted by a king called Nanda, who threw him out of the palace and called him a beggar. Nanda was drunk, and Chanakya swore, I will destroy your dynasty and reinstall my own king in your place. And he went outside, he found a shepherd. He said, I'm going to make you the emperor of India. And he made him, Chandragupta Maurya, and drove out the Greeks from India. He was like that, Chanakya was like that, okay? Now Chanakya's determination is what I want from all of you. The famous story, he went outside his house, he was walking, he fell. He looked up, he found a tuft of grass. And he slipped down. What would you and I do? And he keep walking. He went, he found a shovel, he dug the grass from these roots. Okay, what would we have done? We would have thrown it, no? He took it home. He put it into a pestle. He started grinding it with water. And then he drank it. He destroyed his existence forever. There are other variations of the story that he poured honey on it and ants came and attacked it and destroyed its roots. Whatever it is. But if you face a problem, you have to be like Chanakya. It's a 80-20 rule. 80% will come easily. 20% of Devi Mahatmya will test you. And you will spend 3 times or 10 times of your time on those 20% of Devi Mahatmyam that you would have spent on learning the 80%. And you have to be like Chanakya. If Siddhyam Jyochatanadini Vastu Nisakalamyapi Siddhyam Jyochatanadini Siddhyam Jyochatanadini. I'll make you say it 50 times, okay? And you'll be done. Chanakya. I come in the middle of the night and wake you up, you'll say Siddhyam Jyochatanadini and you'll be done. Chanakya, Chanakya, Chanakya. If you find a problem, take it, grind it, drink it. One of the most famous rigs in Vedam that comes even in SriVidya Puja. But here, where I have noticed, it is actually chanted like a kind of a sloka. It's one of the most difficult rigs, which I spent time on when my daughter Durga was learning dancing and it was snowing and I was in a car outside, the shutters down but heater on. 1 hour I spent on that line. Habun sassu jishat vasurandharik chasadhota vedishatati tarduro nasat rishatva rasad rasadvyo masadabja goja ritaja adrija ritam brihat. Hagum sassu jishat vasurandharik chasadhota vedishatati tar. You know, before you do this, your teeth will fall apart, okay? But I spent an hour on this. But I think here is a Hagumsaha, something like that. We split the padam, okay? But this, I'm telling you, you have to be Chanakya. Take it, grind it and drink it. I'm telling you only 20%, and that's why I told you bring the pencil and everything, because I will make you underline the difficult words. And those difficult words in the beginning may be 100. And then as you find some words easier, you'll start erasing them. It will be 50, then 20, then 10. 3 you'll always have. Because we are not perfect. It will happen. 3 is acceptable. But not 50, not 100. Okay? Even today, after years of chanting and teaching, I have issues. 2-3 words when chanting at top speed, not at medium speed. Tongue gets twisted, okay? That's okay. I'll keep silent then and you guys will make up for it. Because what I find difficult, you may not find difficult. That's one of the other things. Okay? Okay. Any other questions before we take a quick 5-minute break. Any questions?
Can you give an example of Visargam?
With what word? Okay. If you want to master Visargam, take up Vishnu Sahasranama. It's replete with Visargams. Okay? What should I give an example? Do you have some text that you already have? I don't know. Nothing occurs to me when you ask about it. Okay? Gayatri is now quickly. Suddenly I'm going blind. Pick any line with a Visargam.
From the middle, I think.
Yeah, any. You see 2 dots in the middle of any text. That will be dealt slightly differently. Take it in the middle of a sloka. That's a mantra. Again, for example, I gave one example in Narayana Stuti, which comes in 11th chapter. Kausham Bahakshari Devi Narayani Namostute. Kausham Bah. There you have to say ha because it's followed by cha, Charike, right? Let's take Rudram, okay? Namaha Somaya. Namas Somaya cha Rudraya cha Namastamraya. Okay, so that is Namaha. Namas Somaya cha. Okay, Namaha followed by Sa becomes Is. What are the other examples? Rudratla, where there's a Visargam. Namasahamanaya Nivyadina Avya. Oh, yeah, one of the devotees here had a question on the application of Visargam sound changing. Okay, did you find any particular example? Any other place? Yeah. Yeah, for example, Namo Hiranyabahave Senanye Dishan Chapataye Namo Namo Vikshebhyo Harikeshebhyah Pashunam Harikeshebhyah Pashunam. Visargam followed by Pa becomes if. Harikeshebhyah Pashunam. You can't say Harikeshebhyah Pashunam or Harikeshebhyah Pashunam. Harikeshebhyah Pashu. If. Gayatri mantra. Om Datsa Vitarvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naf Prajodayat. Dhiyo Yo Naha Prajodayat becomes Visargam followed by Pra will become if. Listen to Chalakare brothers if you doubt me. Dhiyo Yo Naf Prajodayat. Not Dhiyo Yo Nah Prajodayat. Dhiyo Yo Naf. The first sound is not there in Sanskrit, okay? It is there only in Urdu. Except in Sanskrit when it comes to Visargam, when Visargam is followed by Pa, Pra, sounds will change. And see the holding. If Harikeshe Byah Pashu, you can't say if, you have to hold. If I don't hold, how will it sound? Harikeshe Byah Pashu Nam, and you will be running ahead of others. Okay, and let's look at Namasahamanaya and look at in the beginning. Yameshangiri Shivangiri Tratang Gurumahi Gumsif Purushan Jagat, because Visargam followed by Pa. Gumsif. Okay, let's look at another one. Ye Chemagum Rudra Abhito Dekshus Ish. You don't hold the Shrita. Dekshus Shrita Sahasrasho. People normally say Shrita Sahasrasho. Wrong. Shrita Sahasrasho. Visargam followed by Sa becomes Shrita Sahasra. Shrita Sahas is Sahasrasho. Subtle things. Okay. Let's take another one. Vejandhana kapardino. Dhanuhu kapardino ka. Na. Nuhu followed by ka becomes ik. Vejandhana kapardino. Dhanak. Okay. Dhanak kapardino. You can't say Vejandhanu kapardino, Dhana kapardino. We'll go into Vedam. But I took the Visargam example from Rudram to say why it's so critical to hold. Because in Vedam, more than shlokas, it is non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. Okay? These things. So with this, I think we got examples. Okay? Look, we'll go into this in great detail. Okay? The second half of the hour will be spent on demos. Only demos. Okay? Before we jump into the actual text. With this, we'll take a 5-minute break. Thank you guys. We'll take a 5-minute break and then we'll be back online. Okay? Thank you.
Why do you have such a huge book under your
I brought it with ACT.
When it's followed by Yajna, becomes very,
If you are in English,
Sorry.
yeah, so he will
With a dinner break, but still. I think my dad Are you serious? Yeah, he found this one after everything, and he didn't speak like It's mine.
But he repeated everything. I watched the first You know the science thing, right? That's right.
Students that they know already, he has instead of giving exam, but they have
Yes. It's there in the Google Docs. You name the language, we have developed it.
So it should be.
Let's get everyone in. When you start doing all ready? Good? Rolling? Okay, excellent. So we're in the second hour, or almost I think even half an hour left in the second hour. Now we'll start to apply the rules and see what we have learned. Because as you apply, you'll start to understand the concepts better. Now it might be something like lots of words, lots of theory. And as you apply, the amount of information will shrink and become very small and easy to understand. Right now, we spend an hour talking, right? Hour and a half. Now when you start applying, the rules will crystallize and become very simple to understand. Okay? I had requested that you guys need to keep Siddha Gunjika Stotram and Lalita Sahasranamam to show that the rules are same. I generally do not say that I am teaching Devi Mahatmya. I don't say I teach Rudram. I say I teach the technique of chanting. Because the technique is applicable everywhere. It's the same technique. Right? You have an international license. So you can drive anywhere in the world. So it's like these techniques are applicable to any shloka, except the chandas, because when you talk about Anushtup chandas, we spoke very specifically for the 32 syllables, right? So when you take a Gayatri chandas or you take a Brihati, then you have to know the count of syllables there and apply it accordingly. Let's take Siddha Gunjika Stotram, and at this time we're just trying to apply the concept, and also take Lalita Sahasranamam. And we'll see that there's no real difference, there's no difference actually in the application of the rules between the two. Okay? And at this point in time, the first rule is pronunciation, right? Now, pronunciation itself is a vast topic, and we'll attack pronunciation as we actually take up each line, okay? We will proceed to the second one, which is Chandas, okay? Keep the first line of, first page of Lalita Sahasranamam, and then keep Siddha Kunjika Stotram, okay? Now, Siddha Kunjika Stotram starts with Shiva Uvacha, means Shiva says. Let's go to the second line. Shruno Dev, you don't have to chant, I'm just saying. Shruno Deve Pravakshami Kunjika Stotramuttamam. Chandas, and this is Anushtup Chandas, which means 16 syllables in each line. Shall we start breaking it and saying what are the 16 syllables? Who wants to take a chance? Who wants to volunteer? And the one who volunteers needs to speak up loudly, so it has to be. You want to take a chance? Oh, well.
I can take.
Yeah, sure. And speak loudly.
Okay. Shranu Devi.
No, count.
Shranu Devi.
So say Shri 1.
Shri 1, Nu 2, De 3, Vi 4,
Yeah.
Pra 5, Va 6, Ksha.
Ksha. Because it's inseparable, right? Half Ksha is there. Right? Yeah.
That becomes 7.
Yeah.
Mi, Ku, Kunji.
So it will be Kun.
Kun.
Kun is
Yes.
one syllable. Right? Yeah. Ji.
Ji.
Yeah.
Ka.
Yeah.
To.
Yeah.
Tra.
Yeah.
Mu.
Mud.
Ta. Mud.
Ta.
Ta. Mum.
How did you get? How many did you get?
16.
Wow. Did all of you get it? 16, huh? Magic? Let's go to the second line. Yena mantra prabhavena chandi chapas shubho bhavet. Right? Who wants to count? You want to go? Sure, go ahead. Yeah? Say loudly. Ye. 1. Somebody say, you can count that. You count, you say the syllable.
Na.
2.
Man. Tra.
4.
Pra.
Yeah.
5. Bha.
Yeah.
Be.
Yeah.
Na.
Yeah.
9. Chan. Di.
Yeah.
Cha.
Yeah.
Pa.
Yeah.
Shu.
Yeah.
Ho.
Yeah.
Ha.
Yeah.
Be.
16.
Wow. It's not rocket science. Now you cannot have a tune to a sloka if the count of syllables was not same. Remember the old movies, the songs used to be rhythmical, now they're no longer rhythmical. Once our dear friend Rahman has come, it's all over the place. The earlier old songs, black and white movies, they were all having rhythmical, lines. And if you started counting, you will see that the poets employed the same rule. Now look at the genius of the rishis who gave us these mantras. And I'll tell you how big a genius they are and how they use these syllables for their own tuning aspect. Okay? Now, 16, we proved it. Oh, by the way, I have a big doubt whether Lalita Sahasranamam has the same count. I may be wrong. I want somebody to count on Lalita Sahasranamam, Sri Mata, Sri Maharani. Who wants to go? Anybody? Come on, I need volunteers. So nervous? Come on. You chant Lalita Sahasranamam almost every day. You want to go ahead? Yeah, go. But loudly, please. And you want to volunteer counting?
I'll do it.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead. Yeah.
Shree, Mata, Shree, Maha.
Shree.
Go slowly.
Go slowly. Shree.
Shree,
Ma.
Ta, Shree, Maha.
Not Maha.
Ma.
Ma.
Rag,
Ha.
Ha, Rag,
Ra.
Rag,
Ni.
Shree. Mat. Shree. Shree. Ma.
Shree. Mat. Sim. Ha. Sa. Ne. Shwa. Wow, how many? 16. I'm shocked. Let's go to the second line. Another volunteer. Come on, this is not rocket science. Why don't you go ahead? I got to pick volunteers now. Okay. Who has the text? I told you to keep the text ready for the same purpose, right?
I will do that. Second line.
Yeah.
Chi,
Yeah.
da,
Yeah.
ni,
Yeah.
kun,
Kun.
kum,
Yeah.
da,
Yeah.
sa,
Sam.
some,
You cannot say sa and im.
Yes.
The sound is sam.
some, bhuta,
Bhu.
ta,
Ah.
de, va, ka,
Kar.
kar, ya,
Yeah.
sa,
Mud.
mud,
Dia.
ya, ta.
Wow. AtiRudram Chandas. Huh? Let's do Shuklam Bhadanam Vishnu. I mean, let's not waste time. Have I proved a point? Okay. And that's why I say syllable chanting is very important. And you say, oh, this line is very difficult. It's not difficult, it's got 16 syllables. Don't look at the sentence, don't look at the word. You'll see a big word like this. You'll see one sentence with Namaha and Shiva and very simple words. I can chant that. Oh my God, but this line has got such a big word. It's not a big word, it's got 16 syllables in it. Take those syllables, chant those syllables. The words and sentence will form by itself. See what I'm saying? We're assembling. Like your child does with Lego. We're just assembling. When you get a big, difficult sentence, disassemble. Then assemble. Disassemble. Then assemble. Assemble going forward. Assemble going backward. We'll do all of that. Okay? Okay. Now, we go to 16. Now the point is proved. I will not waste my time or your time proving this anymore. Okay? But when you are having difficulty in chanting a line, it is possible that you are not splitting it properly. Instead of saying 16 syllables, you may be saying 15 or 20. I don't know. Something is wrong somewhere. Okay? Correct? So first tick box. Do I get a count of 16 when I'm saying this? If not, find where it's going wrong. There's a first fix you will do. Okay? You're getting the tool of auto-fixing and auto-analyzing a sentence when you have a difficulty in it. Let's go. So please chant Devi hymns. Dhirgam Hasvam. Let's go to Siddhakonika Sutram and let's count in the first sentence how many dhirgams are there, because the rest will be hasvams. Okay, let's focus on dhirgams, because dhirgams are where people fail to actually put the emphasis and drag and say it fully. Okay, I need a volunteer for counting the dhirgams and actually say the dhirgams out loud. Okay, let me enunciate each syllable. You tell me dhirgam or hasvam. And I need Sriji, can you count the dhirgams? When we identify dhirgam. Shree. Is it a dhirgam or hasvam? Shree. Only one sound, one click. Ono. Ono. Right? It's not dhirgam. Am I saying ono? No. Next one. De. Dhirgam. De. Correct? One dhirgam. Vi. Pra. Va. Cha. Second dhirgam you're coming to? Cha dhirgam, right? Mi. Wow. Kun. Ji. Kas. Sto. Tra. Mut. Ta. Mam. How many dhirgams?
Four.
Mom. The only thing is when you say im, you will extend it a little bit. Kunji khas totramuttamam. There will be a little bit of a dragging on the im. Okay. let's keep for a practical demo 3. Okay? Let's go to the second line. Ye. Na. Man. Tra. Tha. Bha. Ve. Ra. Chan. Di. Ja. Pas. Shu. Ho. Bha. Ved. How many? 7. First line, how many dirghams? 3. Second line, how many dirghams? 7. Which line will be longer to chant? I will chant in 2 styles and tell me which style you think is right now. Shruno devi pravakshami kunjikaastotramuttamam yena mantra prabhavena chandi japa shubho bhavet. Okay, the same speed. Shruno devi pravakshami kunjikaastotramuttamam yena mantra prabhavena chandi japa shubho bhavet.
Second.
See the difference? Second line will take you more time. Mathematically, if you look at it, and I know Iyers is very mathematically oriented, it will be, mathematical formula will be, there are 16 syllables in the first line. 3 into 3 into 3 plus 13 into 1. Correct? Dirgham will be 3 into 3 plus 13 into 1 will be the time units taken to chant the first line. Second line will be 7 into 3 plus 6, no, 7, the math is 9 into 1. So do you get the visualization that the second line should take you more time to chant than the first line? You also understand now why there is a sync problem when somebody does not say the dirgham and give it the respect for time that it deserves and is ahead of you or you are ahead of them. Correct? Are we clear? Let's go to Lalita Sahasranamam, the first line. Shree. Shree. Ma. Ta. Shree. Ma. Ha. Ra. Ni. Shree. Mat. Sim. Ha. Sa. Ne. Shva. Shree. How many? 11. So the formula is 11 into 3 plus 5 into 1. Time units. Second one. Chi. Dam. Ni. Kun. Da. Sam. Hu. Ta. De. Va. Kar. Ya. Sa. Mud. Dia. Ta. 5 into 3 plus 11 into 1. Which line will take you longer? Will you now chant both lines with equidistant? Equally? Cannot. So is the concept clear? Dirgham and Hasra. Intuitively, when you take your yellow marker, I said slim, not the fat one, because the fat one will spill onto the next syllable. Slim. So start marking the dirghams when you do your homework, when you chant, and consciously focus on the dirghams. And start saying Shree, Ma, Ta, Shree, Ma, Ha, Ra, Ni, Shree, Mat, Sim, Ha, Sa, Ne, Shwa, Ri. Are you with me? Now one corollary of this rule, ending dirghams for a shloka. And Devi, Lalita Sahasram is 80% like that. All endings of Lalita Sahasranamam will end in a Dirgham. That is not the case with Devi Mahatmya. And what do people do? They chant the ending Dirgham very short. And they also chant the beginning Dirgham very short. These are, once you become aware of the rule, in the application where people go wrong, Sri Mata, Shri Mata, the Sri beginning Dirgham, people will be a casualty. People will, I know Sri, right? Easy. And the ending, ending Dirghams are always exaggerated in a practical chanting situation. Ending Dirghams are always exaggerated in a practical chanting situation. I'll give a demo, right? Shri Mata Shri Maharagni Srimat Simhasaneshwari. When you do that, there will be a pause before you begin the second line. When the line ends with a Hasvam, the starting of the second line will almost be immediate. I'm talking from a sync perspective. Why people are not in sync? Sri Mat Simhasaneshwari Chidagni Kunda. At the beginning, before Chidagni, there will be a pause. But suppose it was not Ri, it was Ri, for example. Okay? Sri Mat Simhasaneshwari Chidagni Kunda. The starting of the Chidagni will almost be immediate. Why people are not in sync is because of these things. When you have an ending Dirgham, you have to exaggerate and make it. So instead of say 3 snaps, make it 3.5 snaps. I'm just giving an example. As you chant, you will get into rhythm. But keep this in mind. That's why when you take the highlighter, you will not only mark the Dirghams in the middle, but make a note of the ending Dirgham. The ending Dirgham is extremely important. And always pay attention to the beginning Dirgham. Yena mantra. Ye is a Dirgham. In Siddhaponika Sutram, Yena mantra. People go, Yena mantra. Yena. You have to drag it. And incidentally, one important piece of information, as a side information I'm sharing with you. The word Devi in Devi Mahatmyam comes in 2 flavors. You will see Devi, both Dirgham. You will also see Devi. They are not same. The Devi in Devi Mahatmyam you will find 2 combinations. Both Dirgham, other one you will find 1 Dirgham and 1 short. Pay particular attention to that. What am I trying to convey to you? Do not look at the word. Look at Dirgham Rasvam. Dirgham Rasvam. You understand what I'm saying? You should get into that mode. Not the word. Is it a Dirgham or is it a Rasvam? How many Dirghams, how many Rasvam? Approach is totally different. Got it? Okay. So we said, please chant Devi hymns. Dirgham Rasvam we are done. Are you clear now? We did a little bit of demo. We'll do more intensively. But I'm taking you through the application. Very V for Visargam. And I think we saw an example of Visargam before the break. Was it enough or you want to see more of it for the Visargam? Because Lalita Sahasranamam does not have a lot of Visargam. Vishnu Sahasranamam is replete with Visargam, and if you want to master Visargam, your task is to learn Vishnu Sahasranamam. And then you will see what a tongue twister it is. It's actually a straightforward chant, but with the Visargam it is something different, okay? Chamaha Chama Samihana, you will see that. Cha comes many times. Then, what is the last one? Holding, right? Let's go to holding. And if you go to Siddhaponika Stotram, then let's take the first 2 lines. And we will see the holding and we will see which of the 3 instances is that holding, okay? Shri, no holding. No holding. De, no holding. V followed by pra. Pra is a mixture of aksharas. So it's one of the three instances of holding. So you will hold. How will you hold? Shrunodevip pravakshyami. When you get the mixture of aksharas, pra, what is the first sound you hear? Is it pa or ra? What is the first sound you hear in pa and ra? So you will hold the ip. Ip. Shrunodevip pravakshyami. Got it? You won't say Shrunodevi pravakshyami. Tappu. Shrunodevip. This is what is called holding and chanting. Ip. Shrunodevip. Then pra vak. Ksha. Half ksha is coming. Okay. Ksha is made up of ik and sha. Technically, the sound kshatriya, right? Kshemam. There will be an ik sound. You won't say kshemam. Kshemam. Kshatriyan. There will be an ik sound. It is ik and sha. The bigger sha that comes in vishayam. You know the sha? In vishay, the sound sha. Not the sound sha as in Shiva. It's different. Sha. So when you say that, sha has ik sound. You have to hold the ik. Pravakshami. You won't say pravashyami. Pravakshami. Okay? Then inji is coming. Inji. Inja. Kunji. Right? You hold the in. Inja. What's the first sound you hear? In. And here it is not, inja is not, it's half na here. Okay? So we see an example of the half akshara. Kunjika. You won't say kunjika, 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 injika. Are you with me? You won't say kunjika. You say kunjika, in, hold. Then say jika. Then kunjika followed by istra. Stra, stotram, right? Stra. What is the first half? Stra, is. So you'll say kunjika stotra. Kunjika. Pause, hold. Don't say kunjika stotra, kunjika stotra. Okay? Then comes tra. Tra has got two sounds. What are the two sounds? It and ra. Ta and ra. So, kunjika stotra. So, namaste astu bhagavan vishveshwaraya mahadevaya trayambakaya tripurantakaya trikalagni kalaya kalagni rudraya. It. Rudra. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. You say Rudraya. Rudraya. Right? It and Ra. Are you with me? Then Uttamam. Stotram. Uttamam becomes Stotram Uttamam. Okay? So Itta. Half ta is there. Uttamam. Half ta is there. You have to hold there. How many instances of holding, my friends? Devip. One for pra, one for ik, one for inji, one for is, one for tra, one for it. Six instances of holding, which will take more time. More holding, more time. That's the summary, no? More holding, more time. These are red lines. If you skip through them, ordinary chanter. You don't know what you're doing. Full of bhakti. You know, bhakti is different. A a good chanter who is only focused on technically chanting doesn't mean bhakti. To me, my ideal is Kannappa Nayana. That's all. And those of you who know the story of Kannappa Nayana, he is my ideal. He didn't know anything, but no bigger Shiva Bhakta than him, in my opinion. He is my ideal. What did he know? We are nothing before him, right? But we are performing chanting, and there are rules around it. I am 100% sure if Kannappa Nayanar was taught, he would have learned very seriously, he would have applied all the rules. Okay? So let's not confuse bhakti with the technical aspect. Somebody being technically good does not mean they have bhakti. They may have bhakti, but once you know a rule, you are held to a higher standard. When we come to Canada, when you as an immigrant, when you make a mistake, the police catches you, the cop catches you. I'm a new immigrant. Oh, okay, but you know what? Be careful. After the second year, the rule doesn't apply. Oh, I'm new to Canada. How many years? 2 years. Maybe you get a fine. You know what? You have been long enough to know what you should be doing, right? That excuse will not do. Once you know, the forgiveness rule does not apply. As long as you don't know, it's different. This is serious stuff. Now it's a question of integrity and ethics. Ethics, now you know. Once you know and you flout, your conscience will not allow you. Even your conscience allows you, somebody else is watching. Okay? Now, more holding, more dhirgams, more time, more holding, more time, less dhirgams, less time, less holding, less time. Time. Not speed. Okay? So once you know this, then you can go slowly. Shrono deve prabhakshyami kunjikastotramuttamam. And once you are familiar, Shrono deve prabhakshyami kunjikastotramuttamam. But you'll get the same. In proportion, everything will adjust, but you're not flouting any rule. You got my point? That can only come by repeating this sentence umpteen number of times. And for that, we will go through that when we actually get into the boot camp of actually repeating it number of times. But the way to do it is slowly chant and then increase the speed. And if you break down somewhere, go back to the earlier speed. For example, Shrono deve prabhakshyami kunjikastotramuttamam. Shrono deve prabhakshyami kunjikastotramuttamam. Shrono deve prabhakshyami kunjikastotramuttamam. Shrono deve prabhakshyami kunjikastotramuttamam. Should not miss, Shrono deve prabhakshyami kunjikastotramuttamam. Shrono deve prabhakshyami kunjikastotramuttamam. Shrono deve prabhakshyami kunjikastotramuttamam. Still be there. But see the holding. The one who is not familiar with the text, but kind of wing it and try to match you, will swallow the holding because they're not familiar with the text, right? And whatever aksharas they know, they will keep chanting words they know, they'll keep chanting and keep pace, but that's not chanting. Okay, now let's go to the second line to see the holding place. Yes, at last a question. I'm so delighted.
There's a basic doubt between the Kunjika Stotram, if you are putting at this sound, and why is that? For some reason, my mind doesn't.
Half akshara in sa. Okay, stotra. So kunjik, you cannot say kunjika stotra. Kunjika stotra is then stotra. There's a difference between saying Kunjika stotra and Kunjika stotra. There is a pause, there is a hold. The other one is flowing. Kunjika stotra. This one is not flowing. There's a break. Kunjika stotra.
Stress that
Yes.
half syllable we are putting in.
Yes. And now make a corollary point, one extra point, side point in holding. Holding is very sharp and very noticeable when done with hrasvam. When done with dirgham, it is not as noticeable. Okay, I'll give you a small example. Shunode vipravakshami. When I say ip, pra is a hrasvam, right? When I hold with the hrasvam, it will pop out like that. But when I do it with the dirgham, it won't pop out like that. So, Shunode vipravakshami kunjikas. When I say kunjikas, the is will sometimes disappear because kunjikas stotra will be acceptable to kunjikas stotra, okay? But when you do it in the hasvam, no, it is non-negotiable. And especially in Vedic chanting, this will stand out like a pop, pop, pop. The holding will pop up everywhere. Okay, Namaste Rudram. I can't say Rudra, right? Namaste Rudram Anyava Inyava Uto Daishave Namaha Namaste Astu Dhanvane Invane. It will be more sharp and pronounced in fast chanting, especially on the hrasvam than the dirgham. In the dirgham, sometimes it slightly fade away. But become aware. We are going to further details, but become aware of these broad rules now. Okay. Let's go to the second line. Yena mantra. Let's see where the holding is. Ye. Any holding? Na. Man. Yes. Mant. Int. Right. Mantra. Pra is coming. So there are two successive holdings. Mantra. Right? Then Prabha, Ve, Mana, Chan. In Chandi, is there half Ana, so you have to hold it. Chandi, right? Chandi. Then Ja, Pa followed by. So, what does it mean when this visargam? Holding happens in three instances. Half akshara, mixture of aksharas. Third one, visargam. Visargam in the middle of a sentence. Chapaha. Paha followed by shubho. What is the first akshara following visargam? Sha. So, visargam followed by sha will come is. Chandi chapas. Shubho bhavet. Okay, you can't say Chandi japaha shubho bhavet, or you cannot say Chandi japa shubho bhavet. Chandi japas. Ish sound has to come. Chandi japas shubho. Are you with me? All three instances, eh? Lot of details. You want to do chanting anymore?
What is the
Yes.
What is the difference between half akshara and mixture of akshara?
See, for example, when you say mantra, in, it's a half akshara. You say half na in Sanskrit. Right? Mixture of aksharas will be two sounds in one syllable. Tra, it and ra.
But there also tra comes before.
Yes,
like
so there will be int. Half na and half ta will come together for holding. It's a very unique word, mantra. Half na you will hold and half it you will hold. Mantra, intra, half na and half, and full tra. Tra, holding the it of the tra. Okay? Too much? But are you getting it? First is to become aware, right? Then application. So when I make you chant repeatedly, you'll see the application. It will become second nature. After some time, you'll start flowing. Okay? And when I miss something, all of you will say you missed it. It has happened several times. Because of my earlier practices, which are not perfect, right? Some of the things I still have to, I know. And I can tell you students get special delight in When the teacher goes wrong, they love it. Okay, now let's go to Lalita Sahasram first two lines and see how many holding instances are there. And you'll be surprised where there are some holding which you never thought they were there. Is there a holding in Shree, Ma, Ta? Yes. Ta followed by Shree, Shra. Shra is a mixture of two sounds. See? But it is the Dhirgam. And I told you already in a Dhirgam holding is not that visible. Okay. So Shri Mata Shri, Shri Mata Shri is Shri, Asya Shri. There it is noticeable. See? Ya plus Shri, Asya Shri. It is very clear. But here when I say Shri Mata, it's not so noticeable because it's a Dhirgam. But you have to hold the is. See, we didn't know about this, right? We knew the rule, but when it came to a familiar text, we were blind to it. Correct? So holding in this Shri. Ma, no holding. What about Ha? No holding. What follows Ra? The letter Nya. Nya has two sounds. Ig from the base of the throat and Nya from the front of the mouth. So, the way to say this is Ra, Ni, Ra. When you say Ig, the sound has to go to the base of the throat and then Nya will have to come from the Sri Mata, Sri Mahara, Ni, Ra, Ni, Ra, Ni, Ig, Ni. You cannot go Sri Mata, Sri Mahara, Ni, Ra, Ni. Then Shri Mat, half the Shri Mat. But I told you when you have a Hraswam, the force is higher. Shri Mat, right? Simha, Sanesh, Ne, here comes following is, so it won't be so noticeable. Saneshwari. One more further development on the im. When there is a im in the middle of a sentence, you have to hold it. Sim is there. In Devi Mahatmyam, there is a portion that Samsmrita, Samsmrita, Tvam no himse taf parama padaha, Samsmrita, Samsmrita. Okay? In Vedic Chanting, Apradhiratham, Sankrandanena nimishena you cannot do Sankrandanena when the im comes now, you have to hold Sankrandanena. Similarly here, Sri Mata, Sri Maharagni, Sri Mat Simha, Simha Saneshwari. And ending Dhirgam you have to extend. Okay. Let's go to the second line. Chi, no holding. Tak, Ig, Ni, Kun, You have to hold. Da, Sam, half Ma, Bhu, Ta, De, Va, Kar. Whenever you get the Ir, you have to hold. And Ir comes with a rolling sound. Listen to the sound. Two sounds. Tell me which one is right. Rama, Rama. Second sound is right. Ra comes always with a rolling sound. Ramesh. That's my name. Ragni. You cannot be angry, says Ragni. Right? Rama, Rakesh, Ramana, Rakenduvadana. Just try. You cannot say Ra without rolling. but at the same time don't be like a grinder. That once you become aware of something, you want to try it, right? Then become, but there's subtle, at least 3 roles you have to hear. So here, Sri Mata Sri Maharagni, Sri Mata Sri Maharagni, Srimat Simhasaneshwari. Ra, you have to roll. So when you have the Eva Karya, holding is there. Because this is not Ra, it is so it's a half Ra. So you cannot go fast. Eva Karya Samadhyata. So Ra you have to hold. And then Sa Mud Dya. So in Dya, there is Id and Ya. So you have to hold the Id, Samadhyata. You cannot go Samodhyata, Samadhyata. Okay? Are you with me? How do you feel? By the way, you know what? I told all of you to watch the 7 videos. Those 7 videos are nothing but only this. But they're boring, mind you, okay? But I need some YouTube hits. So I will go ahead and watch them. Okay? I'm desperately trying to get YouTube hits. But I don't make any money. I'm not monetize any of them. But yeah, I like to see more number of hits. I feel good. And people are quick to dislike. The learned ones look at my video and say, this guy, what is he trying to do? Come on, this is nonsense. Yeah, but I have kind of, what I'm giving you is a capsule, okay? This I discovered over several years. This is not like what I got in a day or two. What you're getting now is something, just observing, listening, trying to understand. So it's like that, I don't know, what was it? Thomas Alva Edison. He did 1,000 experiments before he found the electric bulb, right? And today all of us are in that. It's something like that. It takes time, but it's delightful, Once you enjoy sound, it's delightful. Now you're seeing many things, right, which you didn't see before. By the way, how many of you actually saw those videos? I'm just curious. I'm delighted. Almost 10-15% have seen it. I'm motivated. Okay. When you saw this video, did you understand? Or you understood better in the class? This is for my personal feedback, okay? I want to know whether those videos were useful or not. Or you found the class useful.
I think it's a mixture of both.
Mixture of both?
Like, since I watch the videos, I know what you're talking about, and then I can develop more about it.
Okay. Okay.
But I wouldn't know how to say it if it's someone without watching videos. So.
Okay. Now, the second thing is, listen to Chandakare brothers. Institutions of sound, okay? God given to mankind. I'm sure there are others like them in Veda Patashalas, but they have not come to light yet, because whenever I talk about them, there are many people who say that you have not listened to many other great people who are there. And I totally agree. But what is available to us is what we can see, And they are magical. Listening to them is an education. Now when you see this and you go back and listen to them chanting Rudram, or you see them chanting Lalita Sahasranamam, you will see every single thing like a bright light. And in terms of pronunciation, they are unbeatable. Unbeatable. The only person, in my personal opinion, who has come close to matching them, but from a singing perspective, is Muhammad Rafi, whose pronunciation is top class. I love Hindi music. So Muhammad Rafi's pronunciation is on par with Chalakare brothers, but from a cinema movie songs perspective, okay? Very subtle but brilliant. But these guys are more pronounced, because in Vedic chanting there's nothing, no subtlety. Vedic chanting is out in the open, so it's a projection, okay? Okay, what is the time now? It's 11:15. We have 45 minutes left, correct? We will focus now, because today is an introductory class. I thought I'll finish a little of Kunjika Stotram, but nobody stopped me from talking. So we'll go to Vedic Chanting. We'll learn the 6 rules. The 7th rule, on which I have not posted a video yet, is on swaras. Because I'm still struggling to think how to make this available to people. Okay. First, understand the difference between slokas and Vedas. Vedas have come directly, have been given to us from the gods, okay? And they are chanted as is. And technically, Sanskrit grammar wise, there are some errors, but they are not corrected because that's the way we have received it. It's called Mara, that's the way we received it, and that's the way we're supposed to chant it. I don't know what those technical Sanskrit errors are, but learned Pandits have said there are certain errors, but we don't correct them. That's the way we have received it, okay? Because, end of the day, it's a sound, no? It's a sound. And many people ask me, what's the meaning? I don't go into meanings. It may shock you, stun you. I don't care about meanings. Maybe a time in my life will come and I'm into meanings. I'm interested only in the sound. Because sound is a form of energy. And when I chant properly, I feel on top of the world. It's like a drug. I call it Rudra addiction. I call it Veda addiction. Okay? I don't go into meanings. Because sometimes when you go into the meanings, you'll be mundane. You'll be shocked. What? This is what this mantra says. And I'll tell you another reason why I don't care about the meanings. Ekta, I think you have a Swiss bank account, I heard. A Swiss bank account. Yeah, you are on the watch list. When you have a Swiss bank account, I'm sure you have a password to it, right? And what is the password? Does it make any sense? Possibly it is 16 letters long. Mixture of capital letters, small letters, numbers, right? Does it make any sense? Oh boy, but if Shree got his hand on the password, what would happen to the bank account? So do you think meaningless sounds are wasteful? That's a useless password. It doesn't make any sense. There's no grammar. What is this? Man, these are sounds, these are passwords. Don't even try to analyze. I had not tried to analyze. These are passwords to God. Just say them correctly. Now that's 16 letter, whatever. If you have one digit wrong, can you get an access to the account? No. Oh, this password says ACG. No, let me make it ABC. Don't even try to correct it. Don't even try to use your brains. Get it, imbibe it, produce it, and you will feel the deity inside. Because these mantras are there in the atmosphere. This is what has been told to me. Not every time, sometimes when I chant, sometimes, for a fleeting 2-3 minutes I'm floating. I feel I have stuck something. I can physically feel I have connected something, okay? And I discussed it with some people and they told me there is nothing new. Those mantras are there. And when you chant and you chant it correctly, it corrects. You make a correction and you will feel it inside. It's like a dialing. So these mantras are dialing numbers. Sometimes when you look at the Vedic meanings and all, it's really sometimes I don't understand it, and sometimes it can put you off because we're all conditioned by modern ethics and modern rules and the way we live. It doesn't make any sense. What? So don't even go there. It's my personal thing. You're welcome to go and study on your own and look up all the meanings. So I'm a sound architect. End of the day. Okay? So let's go to Vedic sounds. It's a totally different world. Okay? Why? Because the concept of swaras come into Vedas which are not there in shlokas. Shlokas, for example, Shree Mata Shree Maharajni Srimad Simhasaneshwari. Right? I can also say Shree Mata Shree Maharajni Srimad Simhasaneshwari. Different tune, right? As long as I follow the rules, no one can tell me I'm wrong. Yeah, I will not be matching your tune. But no one can tell me technically I am wrong. But this is not the case with Vedas. We have 4 Vedas. Rigveda, Rigvedam, Yajurvedam, Samavedam, Atharvana. And all those Vedas have swaras. And what are swaras? Swaras are intonations. Right? When we sing, we use swaras, right? Saptaswaras, 7 swaras. And these swaras in Vedas are the most unique things which are not present in shlokas. So when you talk about rhythms, swaras are non-negotiable. They have to be produced exactly as they are there in the text. How many of you watched the Rudram class yesterday? Anybody? 1. So I'm fine, so I don't mind repeating myself. Swaras are non-negotiable. Why? You can say, I don't care about swaras. Swaras are non-negotiable. You have to understand why. Who saw the video yesterday? This is a question for you. Who saw the video? Why are swaras non-negotiable? Let me see if you watched the video. Forgot? Maybe attending a phone. Okay. Swaras indicate a tone. Swaras indicate a tone. What is a tone? Anybody can give me an example? What's a tone? I didn't like the tone of his voice.
Pitch.
Pitch. What pitch? Oh, please come! If somebody says the pitch is very high, but the pitch is high, right? Yeah, you may not like the high pitch, but that's not the tone. The tone was welcoming. Pitch was high, but the tone was welcoming. Tone means the conveyance of your emotion. Okay. So, for example, Ayya, please come. What were the words? Ayya, please come. Words are Ayya, please come in. What is the tone I am conveying? What is the emotion? Respect, politeness, acceptance of seniority, superiority. Could be senior in age also, right? Many things, but broadly respect. Same words. Ayya, please come. What is the tone? Disrespectful. Same words. Tone is disrespectful. Next one. Ayya, please come. Please don't come. Same words. Same words, right? But please don't come. I don't want you to come. Like, come, Vandutala, I will come. Oh, Vandutala. Last one. Ayya, please come. What's the tone? Oh, you are in for something. Same words, huh? Dear friends, in Vedic chanting, swaras impart a meaning. What is that meaning? Don't ask me. I don't know. All I know is when you change the swara, the meaning changes. The words may be same, meaning changes. I gave a very interesting example yesterday, and I'll repeat the example because I loved it myself. But before that, I am a movie buff. You will increasingly find out. Because to me, you have to enjoy this, I don't make it very austere and heavy spiritual type. I like to, you have to make a connection, you have to get the point across. How many of you saw the movie Onion? I loved the movie. Okay? Now there's a scene. Did you see the movie Onion? So the first homework is to go back and see. You want to learn Vedam, see Onion. Oh my God. In Onion, you saw Onion?
Yes.
There's a famous scene. Shankaraya, you saw Onion? Not onion, onion. Okay. Please watch. It's a fantastic movie. Tamil movie. Yeah. Okay. One scene is equal to 1,000 words, okay? I'll give you one scene of Onion and connect it to Vedas, and you'll think, oh my God, what is this guy doing? There's one scene in the end where the police catch him, right? Prakash Raj captures him, and they tortured him and they beat him up to pulp, right? They put him on an ice block. Have you seen that? Yeah. And then this guy has got a multiple personality disorder. This hero has got a multiple personality disorder. So when this police beat him up to pulp, you see all the characters come out from the person. In one scene, he says, "Ayya, please let me go, don't beat me." Next says, "Hey, if you beat me, I'll kill you." Then he says, "Please let me go, sir, please don't beat me, sir, I'll be dead." Then he says, "Hey, I'll finish you off," okay? The same person, you will see the different personalities come out. My dear friends, when you chant Vedas and change the swaras, you are nothing but an onion. In Rudram, I'm telling you a fact. I'm picking that scene so that you can visually connect and say the swara, what are you doing? In Rudram, in the beginning of Rudram, Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya, Om Namaste Rudramanyava Uto Takishave Namaha, Namaste Astu Dhanmane Bahubhya Mutate Namaha. If you see this and look up the meanings, this is what it says. Hey Shiva, salutations to you. Namaskaram. By the way, can you please take the bow, Pinaki, and put it aside? Because I'm afraid you may use it on me. You're Rudra. I have to calm you down, right? So for my own protection, Rudra Manyava Uto Takishave Namaha. If you look up the meaning, it says, please take up the bow, keep it aside, so that you won't use it. Keep it at distance, right? And by the way, maybe you may still become angry and pick up the bow and shoot an arrow. Please remove the string. Please unstring it. Right? And even if you unstring it, maybe you'll throw the arrow at me. Please keep the arrows on the other side. This is how Rudram begins, okay? And then starts the prayer. Because you don't know how Shiva will react, because he's in deep in a yoga and you are now disturbing him. So the approach is very, very peaceful, defensive. Now think when you change the swaras. Shiva, please, I bow down to you. By the way, keep the bow down. And please remove the string. And if you don't keep, what happens? Your chanting will be, you are not raising your pitch, correct? But see, the tone changes. Hey, Shiva. Go on the other side, huh? Now, did I get the point across?
Yes.
Yeah. Think when you change the swara of onion, you bite your tongue and correct it. Okay, so swaras are non-negotiable because you're not raising the pitch. Like I said, you gave somebody said a pitch. I can raise a pitch and still be conveying the right tone. Namaskaram, please come. The high pitch, right? But my thing is still respectful. I can use a low pitch. Namaskaram, please come. But the tone is different. Pitch has got nothing to do with it. But meaning will change. So, dear friends, swaras are non-negotiable. Point made. Any questions? Onion, right? Watch Onion if you want to improve Vedic chanting. Okay. Now, second point. What are swaras? Swaras are there in Rig Vedam, Yajur Vedam, Sama Vedam, Atharvana Vedam. Sama Vedam has got more swaras. Sapta swaras are there because Carnatic music came from Sama Vedam. Sapta swaras are there. Sama Vedam is not easy. I can chant Yajur Vedam and I can chant Rig Vedam. Not that I'm fully learned, but I'm aware of the swaras and their usage. Okay? Now let's focus on Yajur Vedam. Yajur Vedam has two shakhas or two branches. Krishna Yajur Vedam, which is practiced in the south of India. It's called Black Yajur Vedam. Okay? It's practiced in the south of India. Then there is Shukla Yajur Vedam, which is practiced in the north of India. It's called White Yajur Vedam. Okay? And there's a history behind it. So what we chant is Krishna Yajur Vedam. So sometime when you learn Rudram and you chant it in the Krishna Yajur Vedam style, and you go to the north of India and you hear the same Rudram, hey, what does this fellow know? He's chanting fully wrong. He's not chanting wrong. He's chanting using the swaras of Shukla Yajur Vedam. When you hear somebody chanting Rig Vedam, it is different. Okay? In Rudram in Rig Vedam is called Pancha Rudram. The mantras are different. It is different. Okay? Now let's focus on Krishna Yajur Vedam, which is what we are dealing with. There are 4 swaras in Krishna Yajur Vedam. So let's give a small demo. One is what I call no swara. That means no intonation. Means flat. Means plain. No swara is there's no change, right? There's no inflection. There is no change. This is called Udatta. Okay? Don't worry about it. Just think of it as no swara. No change. Eh? And mark this. This is the most important aspect of Vedic chanting. No swara is the backbone of Vedic chanting. No swara, zero swara is the backbone of Vedic chanting. And at this point in time, I would like you to imagine a graph paper. Take a graph paper. In a graph paper, you have a baseline 0. Baseline 0. 0 is no swara. Just keep this in mind. I'll explain what it is. Then think of the upper swara. So I'll go from no swara to upper swara. Upper swara is called swarita. So I'm going from no swara to a higher intonation. Namo, right? Na, flat, mo to higher intonation called upper swara called swarita. Not changing the pitch, I'm just changing the intonation at the same pitch. Okay? Call this +1 on a graph. 0 to +1. Then there is Dirgha Swarita or and double upper. Upper and upper, double upper. Call it +2. How? Namo. Right? Have you heard this? Namo. And many people stand this wrongly, by the way. They say Namo. The Namo Mo is also a flat. It's wrong. Namo. The Na has to go to Mo first +1 and +1 has to go to the second Mo to +2. But many people chant it wrongly. They say Namo. They drag the mo, but it is in the same plane as na. We'll come to that detail later. So Namo will be na to mo, little bit higher, and little bit higher than that is plus 2. Then comes -1. This is called a lower swara. It's called anudatta. Call it lower swara. It's called -1. Namo, na, namo, namo, na flat, mo +1. The second mo +2. Now na mo. The mo is going down. Call it -1. Got the graph picture in your mind? 0 baseline, 1 upper, double upper, 1 minus. Why am I saying the no swara or the 0 is the backbone of Vedic chanting? It's logical. Somebody apply your logic and tell me.
Is the base against which we measure the Tirkanam, the Krasman?
Solomon come to judgment, yes. You're right. If you don't know your starting base, how do you know you're going up or coming down? Against where do you measure? Many people blissfully think they're going up. For example, I pointed a common mistake. When it is Namo, they go Namo, the mo is on base. It's not going to +1. You got my point? So you have to know your base. If you do not know your base, you don't know whether you're going up. Sometimes you think you're going up, but you're on base. Sometimes you think you're on base, but you're actually going down. Sometimes you think you are on base, but you're going up, and it's all over the place. Get the theory first. Are you with me? Like, Om Namo Bhagavate. So, Om Namo Bhagava. No swara. Only when it comes to te is going up. So, if I chant Om Namo Bhagava, if you say it will be same. The no 0 will be same. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Ya comes back to base. So if I remove the swaras, say remove the te which is going up, remove the dra which is going down, right? Om Namo Bhagavate Rud, back to base, dra goes down, ya comes back to base. If I remove te and dra, how will it sound? It has to be 0. Om Namo Bhagava Ro Ya. Same. Om Namo Bhagava Ro Ya is how it should sound. No swara. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. And by the way, Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya is not part of Rudram. It starts only from Namaste Rudram Anyava. If you take the Vedic main portion, the Moolam, this is a salutation to Rudra. It is not part strictly based on. In fact, if you go to MahaRudram and all, when you chant, they won't chant. They'll start Namaste Rudram Anyava. They'll start. Okay? Even Namaste Su Bhagavan Vishweshwaraya is not part of Rudram. It's an insertion because you're chanting the Namakam portion. Namo Hiranyavahave, right? So it's a salutation to Rudra before chanting that main portion called Namakam. Okay? So, you got the idea of no swara, upper swara, lower swara, double upper. You now understand why swaras are non-negotiable, because I come across this many times. People telling me, what is there? Why should we chant swaras? And I was chanting, but I also did not understand why. But after talking a long time, this. And you see, Vedas are not like other mantras. And Ayya can correct me if I'm wrong. When you are given a mantra diksha in something like an Akshari or Panchadasi, you have to do japam. It's a seed planted in you. You have to keep on doing the japam so that it grows. That's why it's called seed mantra, right? Vedic mantras are not like that. They are already realized mantras. They have the property of fire. If there's a matchbox and a baby comes or a child comes and strikes it correctly, fire will happen. Correct? Fire will happen. Vedic mantras, when chanted correctly, results are instantaneous. They do not have to be grown like a tree. They are already realized because the rishis have realized it already. Their potency is extreme. So if you chant it incorrectly, the tone changes. But the only thing is, some people will, traditionalists will invoke the fear of God in you and say that, this will do you harm. God will come pluck your eyes. As if God has no other better job to do except waiting. Oh, he made a wrong swear. Let me pluck his eyes. God has better jobs to do. So do not worry about wrong chanting. Wrong chanting happens. For example, like Onion, when you chant Rudram perfectly and everything, suddenly you go bad like Onion, 1 or 2 lines, it's okay. God knows. Nobody is perfect, no? Only God is perfect. Otherwise you will be God. If you are perfect, the definition of perfection is God. We are not perfect, right? That's why we are human beings. So do not be afraid of chanting or of having done wrong chanting, but try to improve. It's all relative, no? So when it comes to Vedic chanting, it's a realized mantra. The effect is instantaneous. And traditionally will come and make you afraid, saying if you chant it wrong, harm will befall you. I don't think so. I don't think so. Will you get a benefit in spite of chanting wrongly? I personally think yes. Bhakti is supreme. What did Kadapa Nayanar offer to Shiva? Meat. And he filled his mouth with water and spat on Shivalingam. Things we would not even dare to think of. But nobody bigger than him. But do not take, we are not Kannappa Nayanar. In every aspect, are we Kannappa Nayanar? If Shivalingam starts bleeding, will I pluck my eye? Ni yaro, na yaro. I am not Kannappa Nayanar. Are in the Shivalingam? What is the Shivalingam? I don't know the Shivalingam. I'm telling you the truth. We are limited people, very limited people, so we cannot compare ourselves with Kannappa Nayanar. Okay? Having said that, once you know these Vedas, today what we have is only 5% of what was there. Over 1,200 years of Islamization and British occupation, some mathas have somehow kept the Vedas alive, whatever is there. Yes, they are rigid, they are not inclusive, whatever may be their faults. But we have to accept one thing. What we have today, so far, we have retained, they have retained it at no benefit. Huh? And there was a time when, today probably they are doing better, but there was a time when they were persecuted, they were not having any money. What was the motivation to still do it? So hats off to that respect. I have tremendous respect for that. Otherwise, we would not be knowing all this. The one more point I would like to share with you. These people who are in the Veda Pathashalas, they join them at the age of 5 and 7. And for 10 hours or 12 hours in a day, they keep chanting for 15 years. What must be the sense of sound? So, when we sometimes exercise our right, who can stop me from chanting? I will also chant. Absolutely, nobody can take away the human right of chanting. And there was a talk by Swami Paramarthananda, beautiful speech, where people ask, can we chant, can anyone chant, can ladies chant? He skips some of them very conveniently, but he makes some important points. I think it's important for us to understand those points. He says, the very first car that was invented by Henry Ford, very first car, where is it today? In a museum. Can you drive it today? What is its value in practical terms? Can you drive it? Say you drive it. What speed can you drive it? Look at the maintenance of it. That car, that's so many years old. If you drive it today, what is the maintenance required for that car? It's very flimsy, right? It's very flimsy, it's very old. Compared to that, 15-year-old second-hand Honda. What is the speed that you can drive on highways compared to the original Henry Ford vehicle? 150, 120, no problem, right? Maintenance, no problem. Cost, $1,000, right? So he drives a point. Everyone wants to chant Vedas. Vedas are like the Henry Ford first car that was given to us. So the Vedas were the first sounds given to us. So delicate that a small change can change the entire meaning, right? So many rules to follow. And according to traditionalists, you can have the reverse effect also if you chant them incorrectly, right? Meaning changes. Especially there is one famous story of Twashtra and Indra. Twashtra was an enemy of Indra. It comes in Chamakam also, Twashtra, the word. Enemy of Indra. So he created Vritra from a yajna to slay Indra. But he was chanting Vedic mantras. He didn't make a mistake, but Saraswati came on his tongue and he pronounced a word incorrectly. Wrong, not incorrectly, Swara was wrong. The words were same, Swara was wrong. He didn't make a mistake, he was not an idiot, he knew what he was doing. But Saraswati interfered to make sure that the balance of good and evil remained okay. And because of the Swara mistake, the meaning of the sentence changed from Hey Agni, from you should arise that person who should slay Indra, to Hey Agni, from you let that person arise who should be slain by Indra. The words were same, but swaras went wrong, meaning changed. Come back to the intonation, meaning completely changed to the opposite. But there was a God's will to make it happen, so that if we make a mistake, don't think that will happen, because our intention is not that. Vashtra's intention was different. We are not doing a yajna or something with a certain selfish motive to destruct. Okay. So coming back, I digress. Where was I before Twashtra? Anybody remembers? No. I was right in the point. Yes, Paramathananda. So he says that you want benefits. We are all selfish, right? We want benefits of chanting. Good house. Last of all, spirituality. Byproduct, yes. Make me spiritual too. But you always ask for all materialistic things. Generally speaking. So he says, okay, you want good life, everything? Chant Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama. Easy to maintain. And he compares them to, in a very good fashion, to the Honda. very efficient, highly productive. You have only half an hour. You can't spend 10 hours a day chanting Vedam, right? Like those Veda Patashalas, Pandits. You have half an hour a day. Low maintenance. Honda, you don't maintain it, still it will run. It will give you the benefit. But you want to maintain a Henry Ford first car in a museum. The only point I don't agree with him is on the benefit. The benefit of chanting Vedas is very high. The only error I see in this comparison is that driving Honda gives you a lot of benefit, but chanting Vedas gives you less benefit. No, I personally don't agree with that. They're highly valuable and highly beneficial, but to handle Vedas requires a lot more time, a lot more effort. So if you're simply looking at benefits, shlokas are better than Vedams. And if you say, who can stop me from chanting? I also chant correctly. And that's a simple message. And I thought that example had a lot of things for me to take away, because this question was always, who can chant and why should they chant and what is the benefit, which is better. But I think this example in some ways answers some of those questions, maybe not all of them. So that was my brief introduction to Vedic Swaras. We have not done, I thought we can do, we've got 8 minutes left. We'll do a small demo on the Swaras. Are you with me? So take Rudram, the first line, okay? And this is basically my teaching style, okay? And this teaching style is only to make you understand the Swaras, how to perfect the Swaras, okay? Okay, now when we say the first line of Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya, the sound is not Om, it becomes On. Because Im followed by Na, Namo becomes In. When you say continuously, you listen to Select Brothers, okay? The first line is not Vedam, so I'll just give it one shot. I'll say once, you repeat twice, okay? Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya.
Now go to the second line. I'll say one syllable, repeat twice. It may sound weird, but believe me, it works. Na. 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 Nama. 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 What am I doing? Na is no swara. Na. Now na is a zero swara. You won't find a marking. A swara, if you want to understand, there will be an upper mark for an upper swara, a lower mark for a lower swara. Do you find any marking on na? No. Nothing, right? So na is flat. And na is a harasvam, na. But I said na, I made it longer, right? Why? For you to understand there is no swara. But when you go to ma, the na automatically I will shorten. Are you with me? I say na, right? No swara is what I am giving to you. But the actual sound is na. Okay? Let's go again. Na. Na. Nama. 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 Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
So what happened here? Na, no swara, ma, upper swara, te became flat again. Namaste. So if you remove the mas, na te will be there, right? Because you're coming back to bass. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
You want to open your voice, huh? Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.
I go to the root. Because te followed by root. Do you see any swara for Rudra? No. Do you see any swara for Dra? Okay. So one of the tricks of Vedic chanting, do not look at the word, look at the syllables. And when you see syllables not having a swara, join them together to maintain the no swara. So I will go from namaste to ru. Namaste ru.
Namaste ru. Namaste ru.
No swara, right? We're just doing a demo. Namaste Rudra.
Namaste Rudra. Namaste Rudra.
Namaste Rudrama.
Namaste Rudrama. Namaste Rudrama.
So ma is going down. Saw that? From te to ma. Namaste Rudramanya.
Namaste Rudramanya. Namaste Rudramanya.
Ya is going back to base. Got it? And why did I say ya elongated? It's not a dirgham, right? But why did I elongate? Ya no swara to prove a point. So when you say ya elongated no swara, when you cut it short to the hrasvam, you still maintain the no swara. Good. Got my point? Namaste Rudramanyava.
Namaste Rudramanyava. Namaste Rudramanyava.
So the swara is exaggerated, it's going up. I'm saying because I'm saying it's going up. Okay? Namaste Rudramanyava.
Namaste Rudramanyava. Namaste Rudramanyava.
Namaste Rudramanyava Uto.
Namaste Rudramanyava Uto. Namaste Rudramanyava Uto.
Now, I know all of you are familiar with Rudram. So probably this is generally not a good piece to pick because you may not observe it because you are sometimes maybe just saying from memory. So sometimes it's more beneficial to take a text that you have not touched for you to actually look at it. Now, I want all of you to actually pay attention to the syllables. And again, syllable chanting is extremely important in Vedic chanting because with each syllable will be an associated swara or no swara. So, when you chant the syllables separately, along with that, you will also train yourself to chant the associated swara. Otherwise, what will happen? Swara will slip from one syllable to another syllable. Okay, that's why syllable chanting, the way you are doing, is important. Okay? Namaste Rudramanyava Utota.
Namaste Rudramanyava Utota. Namaste Rudramanyava Utota.
Namaste Rudramanyava Utota.
Namaste Rudramanyava Utota. Namaste Rudramanyava Utota.
Namaste Rudramanyava Utota Isha.
Namaste Rudramanyava Utota Isha. Namaste Rudramanyava Utota Isha.
Namaste Rudramanyava Utota Isha Ve.
Namaste Rudramanyava Utota Isha Ve. Namaste Rudramanyava Utota Isha Ve.
Namaste Rudramanyava Utota Isha Vena.
Namaste Rudramanyava Utota Isha Vena. Namaste Rudramanyava Utota Isha Vena.
Namaste Rudramanyava Utota Isha Vena.
Namaste Rudramanyava Utota Isha Vena. Namaste Rudramanyava Utota ईशवे नमः
नमस्ते रुद्रमन्यव उतोत ईशवे नमः
नमस्ते रुद्रमन्यव उतोत ईशवे नमः नमस्ते रुद्रमन्यव उतोत ईशवे नमः.
So we went from na to ha, syllable by syllable, enunciating the associated swara. And I'll tell you, we're just over a minute. I'll take just one more minute of your time. We'll do this in reverse. This is to purposefully disorient you, because you already know the line and you are not even bothering to look at the text. I keep disorienting the students because I want to emphasize, look at the syllable, syllable, syllable. Don't look at the words. Get trained to be able to look at the syllable and chant it with the associated swara. Okay, after me. Ha. Twice, okay? Next. Maha. Namaha.
Shave Namaha, Shave Namaha, Ishave Namaha, Ishave Namaha.
Watch carefully. You guys are flowing. Flow is good. Vedic chanting should be less of a flow and more of a staccato syllable chanting. Ishave Namaha. See the split? All I'm saying is, I'm splitting the syllable. That's why I'm saying syllable chanting. Don't chant the word, don't chant the sentence, chant the syllable. The words and sentence will automatically form. Isha, Namaha. See? And when the flow comes, you can do the flow when you are sure of the swaras and to get to the chalakare level. Isha, Namaha. It is very subtle. You won't notice the swaras till you get to a certain point, okay? Right now it's like village chanting, in village schools. It don't go like that. So this is something like that. Till you become familiar with it, okay? We're now trying to recognize. Now, one more before. Ta Isha Ve Namaha.
Ta Isha Ve Namaha. Ta Isha Ve Namaha.
Ta has to go right. Ta Isha Ve Namaha.
Ta Isha Ve Namaha. Ta Isha Ve Namaha.
To Ta Isha Ve Namaha.
To Ta Isha Ve Namaha. To Ta Isha Ve Namaha.
Uto Ta Isha Ve Namaha.
Uto Ta Isha Ve Namaha. Uto Ta Isha Ve Namaha.
How many of you felt when saying Uto, to is going up and not to base? Yes. You're not going up. U is down, -1. From U we are going to to, which is 0. Huh? But you felt you're going up. You are going up. Relative to -1, you're going to 0. But you're not going to +1. So you have to know your 0. To is 0. Okay? Okay. Va uto ta isha ve namaha.
Va uto ta isha ve namaha. Va uto ta isha ve namaha.
Yava uto ta isha ve namaha.
Yava uto ta isha ve namaha. Yava uto ta isha ve namaha.
In Yava uto ta isha ve namaha.
In Yava uto ta isha ve namaha. In Yava uto ta isha ve namaha.
Manyava uto ta isha ve namaha.
Manyava uto ta isha ve namaha. Manyava Utota Ishave Namaha.
So you're already holding the Inyava, say Manyava, see that? Okay. Dra Manyava, Dra is flat. Dra Manyava Utota Ishave Namaha.
Dra Manyava Utota Ishave Namaha. Dra Manyava Utota Ishave Namaha.
Rudramanyava Utota Ishave Namaha.
Rudramanyava Utota Ishave Namaha. Rudramanyava Utota Ishave Namaha.
So we held the Idra, Rudra, right? Then Te Rudra, there is no swara. Te Rudra Manyava Utota Ishave Namaha.
Te Rudramanyava Utota Ishave
Namaha. My mistake. Te Rudra Manyava Utota Ishave Namaha.
Te Rudramanyava Utota Ishave Namaha. Te Rudramanyava Utota Ishave Namaha.
Maste Rudra Manyava Utota Ishave Namaha.
Maste Rudramanyava Utota Ishave Namaha. Maste Rudramanyava Utota Ishave Namaha.
Namaste Rudra Manyava Utota Ishave Namaha.
Namaste Rudramanyava Utota Ishave Namaha. Namaste Rudramanyava Utota Ishave Namaha.
And then normally I say 4 times, people chant. So we went forward, we went backward, syllable by syllable, right? Then another technique that I use is na, nama, maste. There is one syllable to next syllable. Teru, Rudra, Drama, Manya, Yava. This is another technique, just to show that you know the swaras with the associated syllable. Once you master this, any suktam, anything you put in before you, you'll take it apart, put it together, take it apart, put it together. And in order to maintain the sanctity of the Vedic chanting, the rishis found several ways. Ganam is the most famous of them. Krama, Padam. There are 7-8 ways they found, and they could weave it inside out. And they have done a tremendous job. And we are chanting this, we have to take necessary care. Extraordinary care. You ever heard of the word extraordinary care? You are held to a higher standard when you say a policeman is held to a higher standard. A doctor, a lawyer, they are professionals. They are held to they have to take extraordinary care. Not like they are not considered as normal human beings, right? Similarly, when we chant this, we are held to higher standards and we have to show extraordinary care. And with that, I'll conclude today's class and give you 1 more minute in case you have any questions. Otherwise, we'll conclude today's class. Any questions?
Maybe we should be Grappa Swara and
Swara is on its own. Okay. You can have on an upper swara, Dirgham and an upper swara. Okay. For example, it's a Rudra, this is word Rudra, and an upper swara. It will be Rudra. So it will be elongated along with the upper swara. Mahidyo, Mahidyo. Right? He will be, suppose it was upper swara, Mahi, the he will be upper swara but elongated with the Dirgham. Namo, right?
Yate.
Yeah, Yate. Yeah, correct. That's an application now. So now today we learned the fundamentals, basics. The classes going forward will be applying, starting to learn Devi Mahatmya. And in consultation with Sriji and Ekta, we'll also talk about are we going also to learn some suktams or just focus Devi Mahatmyam or also spend some time on some suktams? I do not know. We'll keep you informed. But I hope you are engaged and you got some benefit from the class. Going forward, it's a boot camp. I say once, repeat twice when I check my messages. Then if I want to check a message, I'll say 4 times. And when somebody goes wrong there 6 times. Okay? That's how it will be. But, mind you, at the end of it, wow, it's going to be amazing. I can already see it. Okay? Yes?
Somebody is asking about the 4 swaras in Sanskrit.
Okay, the 4 swaras, upper swara, swarita, double upper, plus 2, dirgha swarita, lower swara, anudatta, no swara, udatta. Okay? Thank you all for your patience. It's been a long day and I hope it was worth it for all of you. Thank you. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. What's up, Nicola? உள்ள வந்தாச்சு வெளியில போட்டு